Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. This is your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your midday market report for February 10th, 2022. And I tell you what, guys, I have hollered, screamed, I need a producer. Modern technologies, I am as dumb as a bag of bricks. I can get from A to B to C if I have any technical difficulties. Uh, I I reach out to my two daughters, one a senior in high school, one a senior at UConn. I am dumb. So anyone listening, following us, send me a DM at EC Sports Investors. Send me an email at East Coast Sports Investors at gmail.com. Uh, interns, anyone in college looking to go up these alleys, I need help. We crashed last night. Apologies, and came back this morning like everything was supposed to be business as usual, and unfortunately, it wasn't. My fault, and apologies to our guest. Our weekly trip to the Windy City, the mid-major king himself, the one, the only, Mr. Colton Sroka.
Hey, no need, no reason to apologize to me whatsoever. I get how this shit works from time to time. Technology, how do I put it lightly? Maybe not your forte. Maybe not. You maybe stick to the bet. Stick to all that stuff, Jeff, and we'll take care of all the technological side on this stuff here. But hey, I owe you a thank you. Appreciate the hell out of you for that character. Absolutely. I'm speechless. I don't even have words for you, my friend, other than thank you, thank you, thank you. Popped up on my timeline yesterday. I said, what in the hell? I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Now, I got big shoes to fill. We start making fucking graphics and this and that and the other. Now I got to start cashing tickets. I can't be jacking around out here. So the pressure's on. The collar's a little tighter, but it's all right. It's a pleasure to be back with you, my friend. The Cape Cod Connection, Jeff Dawson.
I'm starting to see the board better. It's been a week since we officially talked. I had a good weekend. We went 4-1. Um, our only loss was a total. We got snipped at the wire. Saturday night, small town game, a small school game. Our team, a 13, no, St. Thomas. They were 13-point dogs, and they had 53 points at the 12-minute mark of the second half. They ended with 56 points. And we ended up 6 points short there, but we've been rolling. Here's the question I have for you. We had Wyoming on Saturday, and they've been living the charmed life. They win every close game, whether it's at the buzzer, whether it's in overtime. Monday, we go against them against Utah State. Utah State had the lead the whole game, 68-66. Wyoming ties it at the buzzer, brings it to OT, and wins it at the buzzer. Yesterday, we caught the reverse line movement on Louisville against Notre Dame. We caught the 7. It landed on 6. But we also bit the hook on NC State plus 3.5 against Wake Forest, who's killed us all year. And NC State down 1 with 4.5 minutes to go. Get outscored 16-0. Thanks for playing. How's your week been? How's the weekend? How's your eyes? How's the mid-major king doing?
I'm cooking right along, my friend. Kind of going back to the beginning where you had right there, before I get in my record, everything I got going. The Tommies. It's funny. I was all about the Tommies coming into this season. They were that brand new. You know, every college season we tend to get that D1 Section 2 school that pops in out of nowhere. Like, who the hell is the St. Thomas Tommies? And I really had my eye on them. And I got burned a couple times early on in the season. Well, you say, who the hell would have known about the St. Thomas Tommies back in September? The mid-major king. I care about those games. Now, everybody is trying to get on the boat in the Tommies, and they don't know, probably not the most valuable side, especially if they're getting a shitload of points on their home hardwood. I don't know what it is. They can't cover a twin-size bed if you call them a king-size blanket. They ain't worth a damn. Stay away from them. That is my full disclaimer. Wyoming, when is it going to be enough? When is it going to be enough? When are the books going to stop standing on top of their counters with their pants down saying, hey, take whatever you want here, my friends? Because I'm telling you, these boys are dangerous. They are dangerous, and I think they could start putting them in a lot more favored spots and be getting their money back a lot quicker than sticking them in the dog spot or whatever, and then losing it overtime or whatever the case might be. Make them 3.5, 4.5 point favorites. I guarantee you, the public still buys into them, and then finally the Wyoming run will come to an end. So I think kind of high level, that's what I thought about those two, because those are two teams that I've really been paying attention to. Cashing tickets left, right, and center on Wyoming, and now I cashed Fresno State when they were plus 3.5 on Sunday, and I've stayed away since. I just said, man, that felt like the last time I can go back to the well. I don't want to drop the bucket down again. I'm going to stay away. But as far as this week, really bizarre. Monday 2-0, swept the board, cash money. Tuesday 0-2. I didn't change anything, didn't do anything different. Just completely fell into a couple of traps. I took Clemson minus the 1, and I also took Texas A&M plus the 1.5. I think that was the problem. I'm not supposed to take any big major conferences or anything like that. I have to stick to the mid majors. Went 2-1 last night, so back in the green, good to go. So what does that make me? 4-3 on the week. So as far as that looks to me, I'm in the green, good to rock and roll. I got two plays coming at you today, but honestly, it is one of the harder boards that I've seen all this entire season so far. I actually said it on our Cup of Joe on campus on Saturday mornings. We were going through it, and first thing I said, man, to Riley, my partner, I said, partner, I don't know, man. This has got to be one of the hardest slates that I've had to cap all year long, and I think this one might take the cake today. It's tough. A lot of mid-major games, and let me tell you, they got some serious spot online. So not to say I ain't got the value still nonetheless. I still got plenty of action we can talk about, and then I also brought a little the usual board bender parlay for a little extra pizza and beer money, if you will. Me and Mags hit a nice little 7-legger yesterday, a little smacker for sure. So see if we can keep that vibe rocking and rolling. But that's about it. My side of the screen, my end of the world. Just how you doing? Keep it moving. That's about it. Everything in between.
I was thinking of you yesterday, especially. There was a lot of mid-major games that caught my eye. You talk about lack of respect. Obviously, Wyoming's one of those teams. Providence reminds me of that as well. Marquette was in that boat, and my boys from UConn finally knocked him down a level the other night. But I think from Vegas and the book standpoint, let's just get through Sunday. Let's get through the Super Bowl, and then they're already sharp. We know that, but they get even sharper as we get closer to conference play.
Oh yeah.
And then obviously the tournament. But I have to bring up a team that I've talked to you at length about it, and they did it again yesterday. Talk about no respect. The Bradley. How about the Bradley?
Well, I got two words for you. Buck Fradley, first and foremost. It's all about roll birds, baby, on this side of the screen. I don't give a damn about those Braves. But from a gambling perspective, yeah, they've been really sneaky, especially against the Ramblers yesterday. Loyola, woo, man, and that Ramblers team is something. I think they're going to be another tournament team. We'll see what all happens. I'm not sure. I haven't fully looked in, so I might be sticking my foot in my mouth a little bit there. I'm not sure if they are on the cusp or not right now, but. Yeah, speaking of, we are right around the corner from some of these teams kind of solidifying themselves as yeah they're in, yeah they're out, and Rutgers last night, a team I'd like to bring up. Rutgers last night, not many more times that we're going to be able to get that kind of value, plus 2.5, walked it off by 2 points again on their home hardwood. I said it on my show yesterday. I said they have to win this game today if they want to have any type of chance at the tournament. And I kind of got the vibe of everybody had kind of just like written them off, and they really aren't that bad of a team. The path is still there for them to make the tournament. And but again, I think that's one of the last times we're going to get that type of value on Rutgers. It seemed like everybody was fading them, or at the bare minimum, Ohio State money line. So it was left, right, and center. Everybody got smacked down on the Scarlet Knights last night.
I'm glad you bring that game up because I talked to Riley on Friday. We'll be talking to him again tomorrow. And we always go into the Saturday, Sunday preview. We had Rutgers +2 against Michigan State, and they put on an absolute butt whooping the second half. That was beautiful. On my show yesterday, I said because it looked like Rutgers was starting to go to that public, sexy, trendy dog. And the books had Michigan State closed at 2 or 2.5. They had Ohio State at 3.5. So I was talking out loud saying, okay, everyone, Vegas is telling you that Ohio State's 1 point better than Michigan State. Just be careful. And my words to everyone yesterday was this. If you didn't have Rutgers on Saturday, be careful to run to the window and take them against Ohio State. And again, they proved me wrong. I stayed away from the game. But again, when you start jumping one side on Tuesday, another side on Saturday. You usually end up on the wrong side of both times.
Absolutely. I truly, honestly believe that was the last time that I could go back to the well because I had him on Saturday too, and there was just something inside me. I said, "Man, this don't feel right. There's no reason to put him back at the same number again." And I told everybody, I said, "Do not put your bankroll on this if you don't want to sweat. I promise you, this is going to come down to a last possession of 13 seconds, but I guarantee you, Rutgers is going to walk away with it again." And they did. But I will say from here on out, be very, 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 very tentative on them. And also, I cashed George Mason last night against Richmond. Everybody thought that it was kind of a case of them dropping down when really Richmond had opened up as the favorites before any of the public got involved, anybody got involved, and they flipped to the dogs and then back to the favorites again and then back to the dogs. And nobody really had noticed that, especially when George Mason, it turned into a pick 'em and they were only favored by a half. Everybody said, "Oh my gosh, we have to buy back into Richmond." And it was an absolute sweat. I told everybody on that one too. I said, "Hey, the Patriots are a damn good team. This is a very bad matchup for Richmond. Richmond walked it off on a 3-ball on their home hardwood. What do you think George Mason's going to do on their home hardwood? They're just going to roll over and say, we're done." Again, it's going to be sweaty as hell. I promise you it's going to be sweaty, but I believe we're getting into the pay window, and we did. Also, Seton Hall and Xavier yesterday. I had the under 143.5, steamed it over. Or 142.5, whatever. I have no earthly idea how that game made it over. Per the action app, it was like 80% chance to cover the under with about a minute and 13 seconds, somewhere in that ballpark. It was like 67-61, and they steamed it over. I couldn't believe it. I would have gone a 3-0 clean sweep, but I digress. I guess you gotta take one off the chops, give one to the old books back, I guess. But not too shabby overall.
I'm going to ask you before we go into today's games. I got to ask you, since you are the mid-major king here. I keep saying this team is not the same team of last year, and the other team is good. I don't know if they're as good as last year. Can you give us your thoughts on the Drake and Missouri State?
Oh man, we talked about this a little bit last week too. As far as Drake goes, I'm a little jaded to them still from last year. I feel like still they're just being ridiculously overvalued because what they were at a point in time last year where it was like 14 or 15, maybe even 16 straight covers in a row for the Bulldogs.
17.
17, yeah, it was absolutely insane. And I came into this year like there's no effing way they're gonna have that same value. There's just no way. And I've been paying attention to them, and obviously anybody bet college basketball in any capacity has seen that. But it seems like every time they play my boys, Illinois State, they got to just run them off the hardwood. What wouldn't you know about that? But they can't win any other position. But also, then they took care of business against Missouri State last night, correct? Or they did? Okay, I didn't end up. I was gonna get a little action on it. I didn't get up in getting into it because I thought that's what might happen. But honestly, Missouri State as a dog, they're always so dangerous. And I think it's almost kind of a case of they were a really damn solid team last year. They were one of the best MVC teams you could put your money on, and now kind of into this year, I don't know if they lost a few key seniors or a couple of key role players, but also yeah, they have kind of scuffled here as of late. I would say two teams that I would avoid altogether. Honestly, I mean, if I know anything, I know the MVC. It's the conference I grew up in, for lack of a better term, going to school in the conference. So I know a lot of those teams, but this year especially, and like the Northern Iowas or the Northern Iowas and Indiana State. I mean, those guys. It's just not the same guys for sure that they have been in the past.
Well, let me just bite my tongue there because I did not watch the close, and there must have been a nice close. Missouri State 66-62, a win at the Drake.
Well, there would be your yeah. I didn't look at the final score, but yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. What might happen? I was leaning to the Bears plus the 2. It honestly just seemed like Drake was just being a little bit overvalued in that spot, and if they were a dog in that spot, maybe I would have thought about it. But obviously they lost by 4, so that's where I was leaning. I was going to take Missouri State. I think here we get into conference play. That's going to be a team you're going to want to put your money on more times often rather than not.
And I'll close with this. Talk about overvalue, and last year's team versus this year's team is the Bonnies. Everyone's on the
Oh,
Bonnies. And I'm going to tell you a true story about this. They are one of the slowest teams. I think the only slower team starting, I think, is UConn versus the Bonnies. And I took them on a Friday night. I took VCU. Was it VCU? I think it was VCU on a Friday night, first half. And wouldn't you know the Bonnies couldn't miss that first half, and that's probably the last time that they covered even a first half play.
The Bonnies have been so bad, my friend. I loved them last year, and they came in ranked top 25. Like they were a top 25 program this year, and they have definitely not lived up to those expectations whatsoever. So I've been pretty much out on the Bonnies. I wouldn't say fade territory, but I've been out on them for at least the better part of 2-3 weeks now here.
All right, my friend, the board is yours. Take it away.
All right, I got them ready to rock and roll. We got rotation number 785, 786. We're calling this one, my friends, the SoCon Smacker, because we're smacking every book around on the market with this play. They are going to be crying in their sleep tonight after we get done with them in this play. Going to the Mercer Bears and the VMI Keydets. You see it there, my friends. We are taking the under 148 and a half. Going to the total here. You'll see it across the market. It's kind of dropped down to a firm 148. And you also see, if you kind of look at the money and bet splits there, the under is the more popular side, but I honestly think it's because the books messed this line up. And they can't really drop it down a boatload because they see more people still buying in on the under. So they're holding it pretty firm. And I really, really, really firmly believe that this one is going to be maybe not sweat free, but I definitely think it's going to be an easy cash for us. I got my line on this one, 145 and a half. So that's kind of why I say not sweat free. It might get a little sweaty towards the end, but I don't see anything higher than a 76-69 kind of game here today. That's because Mercer really has been a wagon to the under in any position you put them in. 7-3 to the under their last 10 games overall, and it's really been because of a lack of offensive scoring production, and their defense has actually been doing pretty damn well. That's why they've been going to so many unders. They actually just played Chattanooga, one of the best teams in the SoCon, and they took them to OT, and the game only finished 74-72, so only 146, and they had 5 minutes of extra ball. So I think this under trend sticks firm for Mercer. But as for VMI, they have been an over team if you look at them kind of surface level. However, this is a spot that I'll get into here in a minute that has been very key for them going to the under. They actually here as of late have like a 2-3 game scoring streak where they put up about 80 plus on their opponent, and then they have a game where they just come crashing back to earth and they just don't look the same that they have over this last couple streak. And I think today is one of those earth crashing games, in all honesty. I mentioned how they've been playing lately up at the top. Lately, they've been dropping in a boatload of buckets for Mercer and VMI combined. Their last 3 games, 147.3 points per game. But if you look across the board on the season, especially into the home and away splits, it's just simply overinflated to this point in time. And I think we see their total drop way back down to the mean. Overall in the season, home and away splits combined for points per game, VMI and Mercer are averaging 142.5. So again, well under that 148.5, 148. I think both offenses continue to struggle here today. I think Mercer's defense really steps up and it allows this total to stay way under. Last but not least, home and away scoring splits are what really, really solidified it for me. Mercer 67.1 points per game on the road compared to 72.4 points per game at home. Obviously, a way better home team offensively. And then they do struggle a little bit defensively on the road, but not anything terrible. 74.1 points per game allowed on the road compared to 71.4 at home. Simple comparison to VMI, it's actually funny. They score a little less on their home hardwood than they do on the road, and it's because a lot of those earth-crashing games that I was telling about have been on their home hardwood, and I think it's another spot again here tonight. 75.4 points per game at home compared to 76.6 on the road. They're allowing 72.3 points per game on their home hardwood compared to 76.9 on the road. So pretty doggone similar. I think this one stays well under the total, but you don't believe me for the first time. Believe the trends. The under 8-3 in VMI's last 11 is a favorite, 9-4 in their last 13 home games. You combine the two, the under is 6-2 in their last 8 as a home favorite, 7-1 in their last 8 versus a team with a losing straight up road record, and 13-5 is the under in Mercer's last 18 road games. 9-4 is the under their last 13 as a road underdog. 26-11 last 37 following a straight up loss. 7-2 is Mercer's last 9 games to the under against a SoCon opponent. Under is 3-2 only in the last 5 meetings. However, the under is 4-1 in the last 5 meetings in or at VMI rather. I love all of those trends. I know there's a boatload of information. Ask me questions if you got them, but my first best bet of the day, Mercer Bears, VMI Keydets. We're going under 148.5, and I am comfortable with the 148 as well.
I know you're talking under here. My quick question to you is VMI opened at 5. A quick reaction to 3.5. I call them a correction. Caesar's now back to 4.5. Any idea? Is it potentially an injury, or is it just maybe an overcorrection? Or
I think it's because the books messed this one up and it's kind of playing into my underplay. This one actually, I saw a few places opened it up at 6, and then by this morning, about 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Central, it had dropped down to 4.5, and then a little touch to 3.5 in some places. I truly believe this is going to be a back and forth defensive affair. I originally looked at Mercer wanting to take the 4.5. I just didn't think that they had enough offensive firepower to allow me to get that ticket to the window. But as I started to roll on that train of thought, it was like, well, that's an underplay. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I ran my numbers on it, got 145.5. If I get 3 points or better on a total on a specific side that I'm thinking about playing, I typically play it because I think that has plenty of value. 2 points, I get a little tentative, but if I get 3 points or better, I'm typically going to play on that side. So it's what I got this morning and why I went to the total, my friend.
game number 2.
Game number 2. We got rotation numbers 773 and 774. Another mid-major action. Sunbelt Conference. We're calling this one the Sunbelt Sizzler. You see it on your screen. Arkansas State Red Wolves against the Troy Trojans. Now, I caught this one this morning. 2.5. Looks like a few places. If you do your line shopping, there is a few, maybe one place offering at 2.5. Looks like it's up to 3.5 in some places too. I am fine with the 3, and I'm sure you guys will be after I talk about this a little bit more. I'm even almost okay with the 3.5. I'm not jumping it on board. I'm not running to a book that has 3.5 trying to hammer that in, but I'm not too concerned about it whatsoever. Typically, I would be looking at Arkansas State in this spot, but with it being a spot, that being the key word, this has actually been very profitable for Troy. They're actually, the spot in specific is they're coming off of back-to-back road games, and they've actually done this multiple times this season where they come off a back-to-back road trip and they either scuffle or maybe they do decent or the outcomes really don't matter. What really matters is they come home following that 2-game road trip, and for some reason they get undervalued and they absolutely cook their opponent. I mean, double digits, and the books have been undervaluing them in that spot. And I think they got wise today, and they finally made them the favorites, and now everybody, or at least a little bit of the public, is thinking that Arkansas State is all of a sudden going to take care of business. And I think the books are putting them in a perfect spot because the last 2 times this spot has come up, the Trojans won 69-59 as an underdog against Coastal Carolina, and then won as an underdog as well against South Alabama 77-68. So that's the last time these 2 spots have happened, and I absolutely love it here. Also, with them being on the road, or rather at home, they're very dominant. 8-1 straight up, 4-2 against the number. Really, this is not an overvaluation of them at all. The reason why they have a 4-2 ATS record with 8-1 straight up at home is because that's what happens when you are a Sun Belt team and you have to play D2 opponents and you don't get very, very many quality opponents to have lines set. So a lot of those did not have any lines set. And again, I think they are extremely undervalued here today still because Arkansas State 5-4 straight up, 4-4-1 against the number. You look overall 15-6 straight up, 10-7-1 against the number. So obviously, if they've struggled anywhere this season, it's been on the road. And I think that's what we continue to see here today. They're coming off of kind of a trend here as of late since about the end of January. They win, lose, cover, fail to cover, fail to cover, fail to cover, and it goes back and forth like that. And they're actually coming off of a win and a cover. They are coming off a 67-58 win over the University of Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns as 2.5-point favorites, and now they go on the road and become 2.5-point dogs. I'll let you do with that information what you wish, but if you need some stats, of course, I brought those too. I think what this really comes down to is Troy's defense. I don't think you should tune into this one expecting an offensive shootout, offensive slugfest. I think this is going to be a defensive battle, and all the edge lies with Troy in that spot. They're 83rd in adjusted defensive efficiency, 63rd in opponent effective field goal, 37th in true field goal percentage allowed, 75th in true three-point field goal percentage allowed, 59th in turnover percentage per KenPom, and they're 71st in the nation in points per game allowed. As always, simple comparison to the Red Wolves, and you will see the edge. 162nd in adjusted defensive efficiency, 125th in opponent effective field goal, 164th in field goal percentage, 82nd in three-point field goal percentage, 122nd in turnover percentage, and 137th in points per game allowed. Last but certainly not least, I think the Red Wolves are just going to be a little bit physically overmatched here today. Troy comes in ranked as the second ranked depth rotation in all of the nation per KenPom, 204th in height. Why do I I mention those two things? Because Arkansas, 307th in depth in the nation and 324th in height. Again, both per KenPom. I think Arkansas State is coming in at a very serious disadvantage here today. But you don't believe me on that. Believe the trends. Troy, 6-2 ATS, last 8 overall. 4-1 ATS, last 4, following a straight up and ATS win. 11-3 ATS, last 14 home games versus a team with a straight up winning road record. 6-1 against the number of their last 7 versus a team with a winning straight up record overall. 6-1 ATS, last 7 Thursday games. Now, Arkansas State, 1-5 against the number of their last 6 Thursday games. Troy is 6-3 against the number of the last 9 meetings. And I just mentioned meetings. The last one was on January the 25th of 2020, last year. Well, 2 years ago now, so it's been a little while. It was at Troy. Arkansas State won 78-62 in a pick'em, and you're here to tell me that these Troy boys haven't had this game circled on their calendar for the last 2 years and about ready to open up 6 cans of whoop-ass on the Red Wolves? You're out of your mind. Give me the Troy Trojans, -2.5, -3. Be tentative of the -3.5. Go do your line shopping on another book. Let's get this bad boy to the pay window. The SoCon Sizzler. Troy Trojans, -2.5.
When I was spanning the globe last night and I woke up this morning and I wait for that, oh, and I see if any of these games like hit me. It's so funny you're on this game because I'll be 1,000,000% honest with you.
Sure.
I thought Arkansas State plus the 3 like stood out like that. Like I thought the number was wrong. I honestly did.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what I'm playing into. I'm really playing into that fact and really it just being this spot. Like any other time, I really would be on the Red Wolves. And I was on the Red Wolves this morning. Instantaneously went to them. I said, whoa, 2.5 for the Red Wolves on the road. Are you kidding me? Like, damn, they're a good ball club. But 2.5. And then I laid out to you their last game. They've been on these win, lose, cover, failed cover, failed cover. They're at home as 2.5-point favorites. Beat the Raging Cajuns by double digits, now go on the road and go into the underdog spot. And then especially the spot that I'm telling you, back-to-back road games and then coming home for Troy. It's happened over their last 10 games and multiple times outside of that throughout the season so far. They play those 2 games, and it's just they come back home after those 2, and they're reinvigorated. I don't know what it is. It's not like they have the best home court advantage. Their home court advantage isn't even inside the top 200, so I don't know what it is, but this spot has been so damn profitable for Troy this year, and the books have been getting killed in this spot because of Troy, and I think they're going to make their money back here today because a lot of people are going to be buying back into the Red Wolves.
Oh, you sold me. Don't get me. Like I said, that game like stood out to me. It was like holy tamale.
Yeah, same here. And honestly, there's a lot of plays that I passed up. And again, I could be sticking my foot in my mouth with this one because I said that it's so funny. Days when I am overly confident, I get crushed through the floor. And I'm an honest guy, full transparency. I am not confident about today. Be careful with what you guys are slamming in, hammering in. I don't feel confident about the board. But the funny part is the days I don't feel confident at all, I cash every single ticket that I put my finger on. And it's the weirdest thing ever. I have no idea. I have no rhyme or reason. But I tell you, Jeff, I usually have 3-4 plays that I've already done the analysis on by the time I get to the end of the board. And then maybe I'll go back and look at some of my lanes. Oh, do I want to add this as a best bet? Or was I just kind of a little too homer on that play? I didn't have one. I had written out. I had to go back through and go through these again and kind of start to find some angles because I really wanted Arkansas State and I could not get myself in the boat. And then I saw those couple of different opportunities. And then this VMI, the under, I had kind of been in a spot like this a few times where I was like, man, this one should go over, right? And I just kept saying right to myself. And I was like, man, I guess not. I'll play the under. Okay, I'll play the under. And outside of that, I mean, there's some value. I got a few other little pieces of value that I was able to find, put together a little parlay here. But outside of that, obviously those are the 2 that I had enough confidence to put my 1 unit on. And again, if you guys would be who you can afford to be at the end of the day, if you don't make these your $100 plays if you ain't a usual $100 player just because I got the mid-major kings scrolling across in the chat down there. You know, I do a lot of work, but obviously I just can't stress enough. This is one of the tougher days of college basketball for sure. But hey, what kind of vibes? Bullshit. It's just a 2-0 day. These are both going straight to the pay window. I don't know what I'm talking about. Bringing that negativity and toxicity. Speaking of, before we carry on. Too much negativity and toxicity out there today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if people were getting up on the wrong side of bed. I don't know if it's a full moon. I don't know what the deal is. Not just the general public, amongst some of our cohorts too. And I just say, hey, everybody love everybody. Let's just like let's be positive. I've been trying to bring the energy and the good vibes and the mental vacations, if you will, wherever I've been going here today. And because it's just, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why everybody's so doggone negative here today, but I'm bringing the positivity. I'll be the light. Hopefully, I turn your frown upside down if you got one on the other side of that doggone screen. But I digress. Start being happy, people. What the hell? We're alive. We're kicking. We sucking air. Demony Christmas. Stop being so damn negative, you assholes.
You're 1,000,000% correct. And I always say, you screw up a free lunch by asking for change. And, it's just social media attracts that. It attracts drama, it attracts negativity. And it's toxic.
Hmm.
And you don't need to be around the negative people. And that's why Twitter's so nice because you got the block and mute button and let them talk all they want.
Oh,
And for people like ourselves in these lanes, we're not perfect. We don't win every day, every week, every month.
hmm.
It's a marathon. It's a grind. We'll be standing here next year at this time and the year after, and hopefully a lot of those toxic people, especially in our lanes, Colton, they would have changed their name 5 times. They changed the name of their company 3 times. They're back downstairs in mom's basement flipping quarters. But you can be who you want to be behind these screens. And
Oh yeah.
for people like ourselves, our faces, our names, we're out here every day, 24/7, 365. We're not
Sure
going
enough.
anywhere.
There's
We're
no
not.
hiding. There's no hiding whatsoever. And I mentioned to you pre-show. I said, man, I was just a dumbass kid with a. I said, hey, Jeff, half the time I wake up in the morning and have to double check the mirror if I wipe dipshit off of my forehead the way people look at me sometimes. I mean, maybe that's the way I like it. Keep them all jaded out here, whatever case might be. But I just it just never ceases to amaze me. Just the sheer. I don't know, just how people walk through life, just not spreading good energy, not spreading positivity, and it takes nothing to be kind. It takes no currency, it takes no nothing just to be kind to somebody. And if I guess that's my message of the day, just be kind today. Just take some time. If you got some errands to run here, you're late getting home. Ah shit, rush hour. I gotta stop by Target. You're already spinning around in your mind. Don't throw all that energy on the clerk just because she messed up checking something out. It ain't her fault that you're a fucking wreck. Period. It ain't her fault. Stop being mad at her. So I don't know who needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that. I got no clue why I say half the things I do half the time, but I try and be that light, Jeff, and 100%. There ain't no going nowhere for me. I mean, I like I said, kind of going back to the beginning there too, just see that character and see you do that for me. I mean, it left me speechless because I was a goofy kid chasing a dream, chasing a passion, writing a newsletter, making some pics, doing some stuff, and people started to resonate with it and the realness. And I said, well, hell, I'll just put my face out here because nobody does it. They got 15 burner accounts, like you said it. They got the different stuff, this and that, and I mean, I ain't going nowhere. This is I love it. I love every minute of it, and the Mid Major King will continue to hammer in plays left, right, and center.
That brings us up to the Thursday parlay.
Okie dokie, artichoke. We've been speaking of overvaluation, undervaluation, yada, yada, yada. I think I got a team here who is finally being valued in the right spot. Shout out our guy, Mr. Lucky, out there. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. I know he can't get enough of them boys. We got them -5.5 tonight. Down from 6, but I think that's a little fugazi, digits doesn't fucking exist type kind of line movement. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's 6 down to 5.5. I love it. I think they take care of the Old Dominion Monarchs, no problem. We also took University of Texas Arlington +1.5 down to straight pick 'em right now. So obviously you can take the money line at this point. It's not going to matter. You can't lose by a half a point. We saw it this morning on FanDuel. They had UL Monroe, who they're playing. It is at UL Monroe, but the Warhawks, that is Louisiana Monroe, they were 1.5 point favorites this morning, and they were getting +100 odds on that. Now I don't know the last time that a book has given you a favorite with +100 odds, but I looked at it and said, Max, what the hell is that? And he goes, dude, I don't know nothing about these two teams. I know you do. I know a little bit about line movement, and that makes no sense whatsoever. We have to take the 1.5. I said damn straight, we sure did. We were going to take the money line, but we just took the plus 1.5 for the parlay. Again, since it is down to a pick 'em, go ahead with the money line. That's fine now. Or if you do your line shop and get your plus 1.5 too. Leg number 3. One final team that I'm going back to the well one final time, and my partner got in with me as well. He was all in agreement with this one. We got the FAU Owls plus 4.5. Now, they have been a wagon lately, regardless of where you put them. Not really scuffling on the road, not really any hangups from home hardwood to the road, so I think they're going to be just fine here. They're actually playing Western Kentucky, and Western Kentucky, they just lost to them in FAU, and I look back, I said, is this kind of a little fluke deal? Like, shit, FAU was a dog, like they won outright. I don't know. FAU has been the dog in all 10 of the last meetings. They've covered 9 out of the last 10, and they've won 6 of them outright, I do believe. So this is just a trend that FAU takes care of. I mean, even if they don't win outright, they continue to cover, and for some reason right now, FAU is on another level. I'm pretty sure, actually, I gave him out. I gave him out as one of my best bets of the day on your show last week, and I mean they have continued to just clip right along. So I think undervalued here. I don't see this finishing by more than a bucket, even if they do lose, but I see them honestly winning this one outright. And leg number 4. Now, my friend, please don't come through the screen at me. I'm not saying they're gonna lose, okay? I'm not saying they're not gonna have a. They're probably not going to have a great night. Your boys are without Bergeron, without Marchand, okay? So we're going to the goal total. I'm not fading them. We're going to the goal total because I think it has more value than going to the Hurricane side of things. We're going to go to the 60-minute total goals, 60-minute total goals, and we're going to the Bruins under 2.5. They're giving it to you right at plus 100. And the over 2.5 was right around minus 118, minus 122, kind of depending where you were looking. A little bit of a setup here, honestly, and it mainly comes down to Bergeron and Marchand not being on the floor, especially for crying out loud after Marchand trying to cut Jerry's head off with his stick the other night. That was pretty impressive, so I figured he needed a little bit of a break after that either way. So I think I'm not going to say they're going to ride the struggle bus all night long, but I could virtually see this, especially why we went to the 60-minute puck line, or not puck line, 60-minute total goals under 2.5. I could see this one being tied at the end of the third period, something 2-2. The Canes tend to find themselves in these crazy games like this so far. And then I hope Andrew McGinnis is listening. He would attest to all of this. My guy up there in the Great White North, our guy. And then I honestly think that it'll kind of be like that situation. And hey, if they go to overtime tied 2-2, we still cash this ticket, baby, because it's the 60-minute total goal line. So it might get a little sweaty, but that's the fun part of betting on NHL ice. And the best part is it's played on the ice, so the ice will cool you down from the sweat. So don't worry, it'll be all good. 4 legs on that bad boy. We got it paying out at over 12-1 odds. I can already hear the book shifting lines as I just gave that out. So you better get to your book and start hammering it in. They don't want to pay this bad boy out. They saw the TTL crew bankrupt them yesterday with a 7-legger. Now they're only doing a 4-legger. They're about to get bankrupt again. Drop your pizza and beer money on it. Let's get it to the pay window.
Amazing stuff. I know it's super weak. I can't let you go without hearing. We're taking all our guests. We're writing down what they're thinking. You don't have to give out any of your special picks, but I just a couple seconds, minutes on Super Bowl and thoughts.
Okay, so I will plug, shameless plug here for my own show. We're actually tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we're doing a full Super Bowl special. So we were going to do it like Saturday night. We're going to do watch the fights, watch college basketball, and let's talk Super Bowl too. Too much additional shit for us to coordinate and whatever, so we're just doing 2-hour, maybe even 2.5-hour Super Bowl special tomorrow. So we'll dive in everything tomorrow if you guys want more content on it, and just only Super Bowl. No Friday picks, no college basketball, no NBA. Super Bowl. That's it. Don't come to that show tomorrow wanting other shit. It's only the Super Bowl. As far as right now, though, I'm kind of in a tough position. We actually talked about this on Wise Words, and I guess tough position might not be the hard or the best word for this. It might be the best position possible. Now, at TTL, we did 32 NFL season previews. We went through each of the 32 teams. We broke them down offensively, defensively. We went through key trends from 2021, projections into 2022. We gave our betting insights. We gave our fantasy insights, and we did that for all 32 teams. We just kept it rocking and rolling. Well, we got to the Rams, and that right around the middle, somewhere in that ballpark. We went alphabetically, and I said, golly. if not now for McVay, when? And I'm still beating that way. If not now for McVay, when? And I was saying that back in August of 2021. And it got to about September, and I said, you know what? Let me see what these odds are sticking at. And they said around plus 2,200 for the Rams. And I said, man, I can get a little pizza and beer money involved in this. And I mean, my bankroll wasn't crazy, and I didn't feel like setting. I threw $10 on it. It's not like I'm losing my mind. Oh my gosh, I got $100 sweating right now on this thing, or $1,000. It's $10. Back then I didn't have the bankroll that I do now, or know as much as I do now, right? Like we hadn't been in the industry as long as we have now, so. I'm sweating that out, but on the same token, if I got that just sitting and relaxing, why don't I just go ahead and kind of tally it out what's going to be arbiters-wise and put some money on the dog and the Bengals, so if they win, then I cash out. If the Rams win, I cash out either way. I don't have to sweat on really anything. I'm thinking of going that one, avoiding the total altogether, and I might get a little wild, maybe 2-3 bills on some props and get a little crazy and just have a laundry list of shit like I did last year. I got into a lot of stuff last year, and it's funny. The one we talked about on our show, the last play of the game to be a QB kneel. No right now is at plus 166, and just kind of basing off of what we've seen so far with the Bengals and their kind of playoff run here. I mean, they haven't had one game that hasn't been completely insane bananas. So I think that's what kind of happens again. And I really don't see this ending unceremoniously with, I mean, it's Matthew Stafford. This is his first Super Bowl ever. It's his first playoff run ever. And then you got Joey B with this. Let me remind you, the Cincinnati Bengals. People were referring to them as the Bungles about 2 years ago, my friend. So this is uncanny. There's no way it's just going to end off a little QB kneel. We just trot off the field. Ooh, Super Bowl. I don't see it. I don't see it whatsoever. So I think that's a nice little plus money cash for you. Plus 166. You got to sit around for the whole damn game to cash the son of a gun. But hey, who the hell cares? We're watching it anyway. Another one kind of just popped in my head. Speaking of end of the game. Hey, boy, buy into this as much as you want. But last year, I had Mags rolling on this last year. I said, well, hey, you can laugh at me all you want. I cashed the damn ticket. Last year, I said, okay, we got the Bucks and the Chiefs playing in the Super Bowl. Right now, okay, what are those two colors? Red. What is everybody going to bet on? That is going to be the Gatorade bath at the end of the game. It's going to be red. We got to keep it all one for the visuals, the effects. I said, that's too easy. You know, like, it may be a Gatorade dump, but I'm a degenerate at the end of the day, and that's too easy. That's too easy. I say, you know what? Blue just seems off the charts. It just seems so far out there because if I'm on a field, I'm either wanting a nice glacier freeze or I'm wanting a nice red flash. And I said, you know what? There ain't no way they're doing a red flash. Give me the glacier freeze, and I'll be damned if it wasn't blue. Well, wouldn't you know, blue and orange are at the very top again this year, and my good old friend Red Flash that I said, well, I would be grabbing as my number 2 if I found myself needing some electrolytes on a field to play, finds itself all the way down at the end here this year, somewhere middle in the pack. Call me crazy. I think. Hey, call me crazy now. Feel free to quote me later. You can clip this up all you want. This year's Gatorade bath for the winning coach is going to be red. Plus 450 last I saw. So a little something, a little sprinkle. Again, pizza and beer money. It's just fun stuff. Pizza and beer money. Heads or tails, obviously everybody likes those. My opinion is actually heads. And I'll tell you why. I always buy into the tails never fails. And think about all the fanfare that we've had over the last few games. And now I'm not saying there's some NFL cabal. Like, I might sound like I got my doggone tinfoil hat here right now, eyes crossing and shit. But I don't know. Everybody, tails never fails. The last 2 Bengals games go to freaking overtime. They call for heads. It lands on tails. Everybody says tails never fails. You dumbasses. What is wrong with you? And then everybody comes into the Super Bowl kind of thinking the same thing. Tails never fails. See what's all happened? And the last 2 coin flips that we've got so kind to be able to see from these 2 teams have both landed on that tails. So maybe a little heads. I know there's not much analysis behind that, but I'm telling you, it's just kind of how it feels good to me. So I like a little heads on the coin flip as well. And then as far as some anytime touchdown scores, because I know everybody loves those too, and I think this will be a pretty high-scoring affair. Me and you and Riley talked about it on Wise Words this week as far as the total going over. I like OBJ. OBJ at the money. The books are finally getting kind of privy to him getting in the end zone. I think it's dropped down at least 2 dimes since I last looked at it. So I'm pretty sure the public was kind of getting pretty into that too. Like, he shouldn't be at plus money. I'm not going to give you out the Cooper Cup, the Joe Mixons, that bullshit. Like, everybody's going, oh, Cooper Cup's getting a touchdown. I cashed that ticket. Come on. We need more value than that. I think, honestly, I think Uzama gets in one way or another. This is going to be a little swing for me. Him ripping that knee brace off on the stage at the beginning of the week really did it for me. It kind of solidified it for me. Like, I don't think he's going to pass up the opportunity to play in the Super Bowl. And if they get down around the 7-8, they run those crazy plays, and that connection between him and Joey Burrow is real deal Holyfield. And he gets lost in behind those linebackers, but is too big for those safeties to have any opportunity. And right now, if I'm not mistaken, the Rams defense, sure, great against quarterbacks, great rushing, but they're about 24th or 25th in the league against receivers. I kind of like a little Uzama sneaking in there if it's one of those situations. But obviously you got the Jamar Chases too, stuff like that. But those would be kind of my 2 long shots to get in, Uzama and then OBJ as well. And then outside of that, off the top of my head, I'm going to dive into a bunch. We'll dive through them all tomorrow. I'm going to dive through just like every game prop as far as, because I did that last year and I had a great year. Just as far as like exact score, maybe potentially quarter-to-quarter stuff, little props like the first time out. They just goofy shit that you can actually, when it comes to the Super Bowl, because it is a standalone game, you can find a lot of stats on actually. And I mean, not to buy into stats as everything oh yeah, this is 100% going to cash because I found all these stats, but it's surprising with the Super Bowl being kind of a standalone game. You can find a lot of stats for some of these one-off prop markets that you don't get access to for the entire season. So I love it. I'm ready to rock and roll. I hope I gave you guys some value there. I hope it gave you some laughs too, if nothing else. But you want some more Super Bowl action, we'll definitely be giving it out tomorrow on our show 2 live. So and that'll be all the way through the Super Bowl as well. So you can watch it while you're hanging out, watching some college basketball too Saturday morning. Maybe you're waiting for college basketball, whatever the hell. Well, actually, no, because then you got to tune in to Cup of Joe on campus with us too. So don't watch it tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. There you go. There you have it.
We had the 18-minute screw up on my end. We blink and we're 47 minutes deep. I know you got other stuff coming. I keep you on again for hours, and then I get yelled at by your host, Riley. I can't do that. Been leaving the scroller on and where everyone can follow you, obviously. And yes, you are the mid-major king. We have that up there. It will be branded sooner than later. Trust me on that. Tell everyone where they can find you. They can find Riley, all your platforms, all your podcasts. Loud and proud, my brother.
Loud and proud, you got it. You see me down there, Colton Sroka. You can follow me at ColtTTL Sports on Twitter. You won't see my face. You'll see a nice NFT of a Ether Brew. You want to get in the NFT game, go mint yourself an Ether Brew. Shout out to my brew crew. How about that for a free shameless plug? You won't see me, but you'll see that there. I tweet about just about everything under the sun. Maybe sea wolves. What the hell is a sea wolf? We talked about that yesterday, college basketball. I may be the mid-major king, but also used to be an amateur mixed martial artist back in a previous life of mine. So I have a very special place in my heart for UFC. It just so happens I get the opportunity to write a wonderful UFC blog every week. Drop that on Saturday mornings every time there's a fight card. So we got obviously UFC 271, Adesanya against Whitaker 2 this weekend. Can't wait. Tuivasa Lewis co-main event. We got Brunson and Cannonier. If you needed a question if I'm the UFC guy, you don't anymore. Stop by that on Saturday. I'll be tweeting about it all too on Saturday. Honestly, just follow me if you like a little bit of a laugh. If you like negativity, if you like toxicity, if you like venom spewing, don't come to my page. That's not what you're going to find. You're going to find positivity. You're going to find dumbassery. You're going to find all around just goofiness because I think we need more of that on the timeline. So follow us there. You can follow my partner at RMagsTTL Sports. RMAGS, just like it sounds, RMAGS TTL Sports. Follow us at Talking the Line. That's all of our content, our daily shows, everything in between. And then on our Talking the Line page, or you can go to talkingtheline.com. The Talking the Line page has the link tree, but you can go to talkingtheline.com. Has an individual tab for all of our shows. We got the TTL pod Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, about an hour and a half. Dive into the world of betting, insights, analysis, and more rabbit holes than we know what to do with. Then Wednesdays, we bring in a famous person, one of the most or more notoriety or whatever I'm trying to say. Somebody who we have a hell of a lot of respect for is what I'm trying to say. We bring him on every Wednesday. We got our show at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, drops on our YouTube and every podcast platform on Wednesdays, called the Wise Words Podcast. And then Cup of Joe on Campus Pod, we run through the entire collegiate slate every Saturday morning, fill up a couple of big old cups of Joe. You see me always sipping out of my cup. I'm a big old coffee fiend. So, of course, we had to make a coffee show, run through the entire, hey, cheers to you, my friend. Had to run through the entire college basketball slate while we drink some coffee on Saturday morning. So that's everything there. If I forgot anything, I missed it, I'm sure you can find it on talkingtheline.com. We're also on Facebook and Instagram at Talking the Line Sports Media and talking_the_line. Shout out my partner for taking care of a boatload of the graphics and all of the good visual shit. I mean, the work he does too is top notch. Sometimes the old graphic intern rears his ugly head and he forgets to put an L or a W somewhere. It happens. It is what it is. But then Armags to Riches shows up and then he absolutely destroys some other graphics. So absolutely love you, my partner. Appreciate the hell out of you. I know you're watching, so I appreciate you, my man. You guys out there, go give him a follow, and I yield back. That's all I got, my friend.
An amazing show as always. We look forward to our trip to the Windy City on Thursday and Friday. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., his co-host, his partner in crime, we like to say from rags to riches. And we get the Packer side of life. We get the Big Ten look. And you know what? I'm going to just say this, and the ECSI family has to thank you because, when you get old, you forget stuff. Thursday, you were on the Charlotte 49ers, and they laid an egg.
Yes, they did.
We came back on Saturday and nailed them, and because of you. And it was the same setup. It was the same everything. And I'm like, I saw what you saw on Thursday, and we came back with them on Saturday. So we thank you.
Hey, well, my pleasure. I didn't have the coyones to get back on in the boat and help you gently row it down the stream, so I'm glad you guys got that ticket to the pay window, my friend. And I'm honored I could give you a little insights and get you in that direction.
No, but see that's what we do here is we help each other. And I am the first one to say I have blinders on.
Us versus the books. Us versus the books. Less of me versus thee. I'm your smartest capper, and I know everything on this whole planet. You should only watch me, because that... No. Us versus the books. We're all trying to... Sorry, Mr. Dawson, but we are trying to bankrupt you left, right, and center, and that's what the vision and the mentality needs to be, my friends. Enough of this us versus you. It is us versus the books. Period. I digress. Off my soapbox.
No, and that's what it's all about. And when you have blinders on, it's like the stove. It's hot, and you keep going back to the well. That's like me against Wake Forest. That's like me, saying Marquette as a dog's not going to win. Winning. Providence keeps winning. Wyoming keeps winning. When is enough? And it's people like yourself. It's like Riley that open up our eyes and say, hey, you know what? I didn't see that. Now I see that, and we thank you.
Well, I thank you for the kind words, my friend. It's why I did it. Just, again, a goofy kid that decided to start writing some analysis and chasing a dream and passion. Can't thank you for all the support you give us as well. From the bottom of my heart, my friend. I know I can speak for Mags, too, but it's been an honor to call the Cape Cod connection, Mr. Jeff Dawson, our friend, for sure. Thank you.
From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from Colton Sroka, it's Colt TTL Sports, and of course, Talking the Line, the mid-major king of hoops. We thank you for watching us today. And just remember this, if you are wagering or investing today, always wager responsibly. If you have a problem, pick up the phone, ask for help. Why? Because we care. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. Have yourself a blessed day. Cash some tickets. Have some fun, and we will catch you tomorrow.